One of the things that was going on when I was chief of disguise was an enormous research program into the new advanced disguise system. It was basically the masks that everybody always wondered if we used masks, and this was the beginning. This is a series of photographs of when I met George H.W. Bush in the Oval Office and revealed to him that I was briefing him wearing a mask. When you go to disguise a person, the general idea is that you're going to meet with someone in this disguise, and they're going to write a memo of the person that they just met with. We want every item in that memo that describes you to be wrong. If we're looking at a man and we want to change the way he looks, start at the top, and the first thing that comes up is hair. What's he got, and what do you want to do with it? If he has curly hair, you want to go straight. If he has dark hair, you might want to go light. If he's young, you might want to throw in some gray. If he's old, you might want to cover up the gray. Do you present with facial hair? If you don't, maybe we're going to give you some. If you're going to be somewhere for a while, maybe we're going to have you grow some. We have made prostheses on occasion. You could actually change cheekbones. You can add something here. You can add a forehead. You can do a nose. We could do what we call dental facades. We can change actually the shape of your face with the right dental facade. This piece is called a plumper because it increases the plumpness of your gums. And when it does that, it changes the profile of your face. The last thing is artificial palates. We take an impression of the top of your mouth. They can change your enunciation. They can cause a slight lisp. It's a little bit different with everybody who wears one, but if it's enough, it's very useful. We very often discover that older looking men are considered less threatening than younger looking men, so we like to age a person. You want to be the person that gets on the elevator and then gets off, and nobody really remembers that you were even there. That is a design goal at the disguise labs at CIA. Disguise isn't just all about the facial oval. It's about how you dress, how you present yourself in a public environment. Americans are oblivious to what it is that reveals them to a foreign crowd or a foreign intelligence service when they're out in public. In terms of behaviors, there are a lot of small actions that give us away. The way we eat. Europeans use the fork in their left hand and it doesn't travel back and forth to the right hand, whereas we're constantly putting down a knife and moving utensils back and forth. The way we smoke. We put it between our first two fingers. They tend to hold a cigarette between the thumb and the first finger. When an American stands, they tend to support themselves on one foot or the other. In Europe, they stand straight up. They don't lean on anything. Their weight's equally on their feet. Changing the way that you walk requires some amendment to what you're doing. You're going to need a physical apparatus to make you walk differently. You can't possibly say, okay, now I'm going to limp. To change my walk, I put a little piece of gravel in my shoe. Just a little thing that pinches my toe. And it changes my walk whether I want to or not. You can put a bandage around a knee. Something that restricts you will change your walk. Disguise can be applicable to you in your everyday life in terms of traveling around the world and staying safe. And if they can tell from your sneakers, if they can tell from your baseball hat, or a lot of other behaviors that we exhibit, that you are an American, you become a target if you just want to play it safe. There's nothing wrong with stopping in a local store and buying some local clothes. If you smoke, get some local cigarettes. You can always add a pair of glasses. You can always add some kind of hat. Just back yourself off from that American imprint that we all carry with us.
That is why the artists often resorted to an array of disguises, which were successful to varying degrees. I do disguises for different reasons. I like to study people. I like to be a fly on the wall, even if it's two old ladies sitting on a bench or some kids on a swing. Because I don't know what it's like to fit into an everyday life situation. One time I was in a record store, completely disguised, and these girls were pulling out my album, talking all about me. I was literally next to them. It was wonderful, I loved it. Welcome to The Detail, and in this video we're going to expose the most wild attempts Michael Jackson made to disguise himself. So if you like this video, make sure to give us a like, subscribe for more like this one, and also check out our store. We have really great original designs. Having been catapulted into stardom as a child, Jackson was often mobbed with his brothers and learnt early the importance of keeping anonymity in public. At first glance, you wonder what beaming young actress Tatum O'Neal sees in her older date. His features obscured by a huge afro and bushy beard. But the eyes are a giveaway. Beneath the elaborate disguise is a 24-year-old Michael Jackson, hoping to enjoy a concert with his first girlfriend without being recognised. Tatum said, "We were going to a Kool and the Gang concert. Michael didn't want to be spotted. He got the special effects guy to help. We had an amazing night, no one recognised us, but we did have some strange looks as he did appear so much older than me." It is said that the get-up was put together by Oscar-winning special effects artist Rick Baker, who later would work on the Thriller video. During this period, Michael often made various attempts to conceal his identity with the use of wigs, makeup and prosthetics. "There is nowhere in the world I can actually go and have privacy. To use the silly expression, I live in a fishbowl, but it's true. I do disguises, people know them all, fat suits, buck teeth, glasses, afros, prosthetics, makeup jobs, everything. Just to sit in the audience and experience it the way an audience should experience a show. I want to feel how they feel." This fascination with altering his own appearance and how it changes the way he experiences the world around him was reflected in his work with music videos like Thriller and Ghosts, as well as his changing appearance over the years to come. Although Jackson's disguises weren't always as convincing as he might have liked. As in 1989, Jackson was caught on CCTV at a gift shop in California. Jackson was seen wearing a wig, stick-on moustache, and fake teeth. His disguise was so dodgy he got stopped by security guards and questioned about his suspicious appearance.
It was funny, but it was also a little bit frightening. I mean, if he would have been wearing his glove, we would have known who he was.
As the years went on, Jackson's disguises would become less convincing and more bizarre. He would often wear scarves, masks, and surgical plasters to cover his face. Like he would with his children, he would cover his face in heaps of fabric in hopes that he would not be recognised. Although such bizarre behaviour probably did the exact opposite and made him more of a target of public intrigue. These unorthodox disguises led him into cross-dressing in 2006. Most people working at this mall in Bahrain thought this person covered head to toe in a black veil, gloves and glasses appeared to be a rich doting Saudi mother, leaping from one aisle to the next to select kids' shoes, clothes and toys in mother care. But while he was waiting for an assistant to pay, a cashier said that she noticed that the person in the woman's abaya was wearing men's shoes. "I looked at him and mouthed, 'Michael Jackson,' she said, but he wagged his finger to caution me against saying that aloud." Then Jackson made his way to a shoe store, and a salesman thought he was assisting a wealthy Saudi woman, then heard a group of Bahrainian women saying that Jackson was in the mall. "I looked at the person's shoes and found they were men's shoes. That's when I guessed it was Michael Jackson," he said. By then, the crowd was growing, so store staff had to help Jackson escape. The main entrance was packed with fans and photographers. A crowd also gathered at the staff exit. At that point, a woman with Jackson asked the driver to get scarves for the children, which she wrapped around their faces before he was led through a back door. Thank you for watching.
A member of the Warsaw, Virginia Town Council posted a picture of himself in blackface dressed as Randy Watson, the lead singer of the band Sexual Chocolate in the film Coming to America.
In 2010, he held up multiple tri-state banks, and the surveillance video hit probably every newscast in Cincinnati.
It's something you would see in a Hollywood movie. I don't think any of us have seen anybody do anything like this.
He talks about killing cops.
This is the bank robber.
We believe to be an African-American male.
Hamilton County prosecutor Joe Dieter says people were convinced they knew this guy. This is that woman's son. Take a look. He looks incredibly like the guy in the surveillance video. Police took the son, whose identity we were not given, into custody. Then they got a call from another woman who said they had the wrong guy, that it was her boyfriend who robbed the bank, and this is her boyfriend, Conrad Zerdiak.
Actual perpetrator was white as could be. He had bought a theatrical mask from Beverly Hills, which cost a few $1,000s. And it's very lifelike, and he had it on, and it looks like the guy they called Crime Stoppers about.
I mean, his mom said.
His mother said it.
He did it.
He did it. It looked just like her son.
Sunglasses covered Zerdiak's blue eyes. Gloves covered his hands.
That just tells you don't believe what you see all the time.
Stephen Ray Milam seems like an ordinary, hard-working businessman, but he's got a sinister secret. He's a serial bank robber, and he's just made his boldest move yet.
And that's when the gun came out.
Damn it! I said empty the door!
Sorry.
Or you die.
And the money came flying out of the drawers at that point. And when I walked out of the bank, I remember looking back and seeing the looks on the faces of all the patrons and the employees.
Just as Richardson police officers arrive at the scene, an unmasked Milam makes his escape.
And there was an officer coming my way that was pulling in the parking lot when I was about to go out. And I could feel him staring a hole through me. I always made sure I had the windows all the way down. I was letting him visually see that I'm not anything like who you're looking for. And I had my gun down in the slot, you know, on the door there, ready, just in case he did a U-turn, but he kept going.
And I tried to stall.
At this point, the FBI is working with the Richardson Police Department. Detective Eric Willardson is in charge of the investigation.
And you had never seen this person before.
The thing about him, he didn't look.
But there's little to go on.
He did not leave much evidence at all. He knew what to do. We did have a feeling that he probably knew the area. He struck places, he had researched them, looked at them, knew they were somewhat close to major roads where he'd be able to blend in and get away.
You got anything?
I got to tell you, there's not much to go on here.
Yeah, overall, I think he's an intelligent person. He was pretty good in what he did. He went in, he got what he wanted, and he left pretty quickly.